Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. Sorry for the slightly late start today. Had something work related come up. Normally things are pretty chill, but there's the occasional week when evenings are at risk. But we're here now. We're going to play some more Across a Thousand Dead Worlds. But before that, I'm going to take a quick diversion. I want to look up a new bird that I saw in my garden just before stream. So here is the bird in question. It's definitely some sort of pigeon or dove or thing, but it looks like a very polite pigeon. This looks like the sort of pigeon who I don't know why this came to mind. It looks like a very polite pigeon. This looks like the pigeon equivalent of a 12-year-old boy called Timothy who goes to church every Sunday and genuinely enjoys it, and even if you are not a churchgoer, wishes you the very best. That's what this pigeon puts me in mind of, and let's just have a look. Bird identifier, here we go. The British Birds Identifier, so it is pigeon-sized. And Timothy is definitely grey. And well, it's this, a collared dove. Yep. I was thinking it didn't really look like a pigeon because it didn't have the like they normally have like tail stripes. Yeah, there we go. Yep, it's definitely got the collar. Okay, what do we got here? Grey. Yep. Breed from March to September. That is the time of year right now. Okay. Usually near human habitation. Okay. So yes, it's a type of that's nice. I didn't really see Timothy from the front, so I don't know if he quite looks like that. That's pretty cool. I've definitely been enjoying seeing lots of birds show up at the bird feeder since I set that up in my garden. Do recommend it. Anyway, we're not here to talk about birds. We are here to play Across a Thousand Dead Worlds. Let's get back over to the character sheet here. So things didn't go so well last session, I think is a gentle way of putting it. So we landed on the world of GK Cornix 4811 after a journey of 4 weeks. So it was very fortunate that we stocked up on oxygen tanks and rations before setting off, because we wouldn't have had enough to get home if we didn't. We'd have had to kill and eat the other members of the crew or something. But anyway, that turned out not to be a problem because everyone is dead now. We sat down next to a lava lake. This was kind of a new experience because the previous site we went to, it was like an abandoned spaceship up in space, as they are wants to be. This is a planet. So we sat down next to a lava lake. You can see the little symbols I've been using here for the red circles. So lava lakes. We've got our ship here as this yellow diamond. And Andrea, who is dead now, speculated that maybe once there'd been a facility here, but at some point in the past few 100,000 years, the ground crumbled away into the magma, and so all that's left is like this spot that we landed on. Or perhaps the ship is smart enough to land on solid ground rather than in the magma. Anyway, it was shortly after getting out of the ship and beginning to explore that we had our first death. Taker, one of the known threats, and let's just find the Taker. So, here we go. This kind of insects-looking guy with tentacles. One of these, they're common on many Arthath worlds. One of these ambushed us in the hills and managed to drag Zhao down a magma tunnel and into the darkness before we could save him. Then things turned from bad to worse. So in the pursuits, Huang and Miesha, two new NPCs we brought with us. Sorry, not two. Huang is a new NPC. Miesha was an old NPC. They took a tumble, and Miesha badly hurt his leg in this, sustaining a wound. But this then caused a rock slide, and I was the only one to get out in time. So we came here with a crew of 5. 1 was abducted and presumably eaten by an alien. 3 were buried in a rock slide, and 1 has made it out, now alone on an inhospitable alien planet, hurt, traumatized. Silas knows he couldn't just go back home at this point. He's broke. More than broke, he's in debt. We have something like 35 credits to our name, 34 credits to our name, and our rent is 50 credits a week. It took 4 weeks to get here, so we're in the negative. If we went home now, they would just send us immediately back again to find something. So he knew he needs to make this mission a success. He can't just go back home now. He needs to find something that will at least cover the bills. The one silver lining of this situation is that he won't have to split the profit this time. So, after wandering for miles more, exploring from our ship in a spiral pattern so that we can always make a beeline straight home if need be, he finally found something. Halfway up a hopefully dormant volcano, there is an Arsath facility kind of protruding out of the side. And approaching this facility, we found that part of the exterior wall of some sort of machine room had been torn away by rockfall at some point in the past, giving us an easy, although unintended, entrance. And to our great delight, we found a cache of valuables, 10 data crystals and 3 alloy cubes, which is worth a total of 700 and something. As we moved deeper into the facility, we were affected by like strange psychic echoes of the past. We had visions of tall bipedal creatures, possibly Arsath, not sure. We only really saw them as like blurry silhouettes. We saw them moving around the facility as it was in its heyday, and we followed one of these figures, which led to us stepping out into empty space, trying to step onto a balcony which was no longer there, and we fell down to the level below. Somehow we landed uninjured, but looking back, there's no way to climb back up where we fell from, and the only door leading out of this place was locked. So fortunately we got through that, and we moved through a series of rooms, encountering more locked or trapped doors. We found some sort of weird psychic library that felt like it was scanning us. We didn't find any more data crystals or alloy cubes, but we did find a bit of scrap we could salvage. And mercifully, we found a stairway back up to the level we fell from, which was actually just very close to the entrance room here, number 1. So we came into number 1 here, we fell down a balcony of room number 2, landing in room number 3, and then wandered back around. And if you recall, the way I dealt with this was, when we left room 3, I had I think I said like a 2 in 6 chance that a given door would lead back up in the appropriate direction, and would kind of reconnect back to something we knew. And so we hit that chance for this door here leading from room 4, and said this probably connects up to room 5. So now we are back at the entrance of the sites, a few miles from the ship. I can't remember how big these hexes are. I think they're 3-mile hexes, maybe. Doesn't really matter. The point is, each hex costs 2 oxygen and 1 battery, and we have plenty of oxygen to make it 2 hexes north. So we could just leave now at this point, but I don't want to. I want to find at least 200 coins worth of resources still, because we have found, check my calculator, We found 925 worth, so that's the 10 data crystals, the 3 alloy cubes, and the 2 pieces of scrap. And we get that as XP, so money is XP in this system. We got 875 XP from the previous site, and you level up every 1,000, so we are very, very close to being able to level up twice. So if we can find 200 credits worth of stuff before we leave, then we'll level up 2 more times, which I think would be very nice, because we didn't level up at all on the previous sites, and we're so close to leveling up twice from this one. And another reason I want to level up twice if I can is that this will be the final session of Across 1,000 Dead Worlds, at least for the time being. We may come back to it and Silas Lang in the future, because I think the like site-based exploration format kind of lends itself to these like short games of a few sessions. But this is the 5th session of Across 1,000 Dead Worlds now, so it'll be nice to do something a little bit different. And I will reveal not exactly what it is. I have a couple of ideas, but I'll reveal my ideas at the end of stream. So let's pick it up where we left off. So we've got our mission log here. Let's start a new text file, new text box rather, for session 5, and we are in area 1. The broken machinery room. So we've already searched this room once, as we can see from I've indicated with this dashed border. So we've not searched room 2. We could, I think, going back into room 2 and searching there for scrap is a smart move, because we know that is a safe place. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're doing pretty good on time. So we do have a 5 potential random encounters in this place. We've not had any encounters here yet, so I am conscious that we've been quite lucky with that. So the more time we spend in this place, you know, the more we're risking. But I'm gonna push my luck, I think. So let's move over to room 2 here. So we'll mark off 1 more unit of time. And room 2 was a kind of balcony thing. It was a mind trap that I interpreted as leading us off a balcony. I think we know that this is here now, so we can steal ourselves and not follow the phantoms. God, I can't type tonight. Okay, area 2, mind trap. Right, what are we doing here? So, conscious of the mind altering powers of this area. I steal myself. And let's just have a look at let's see, it's a hazard manifestation, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, okay, so we rolled on here and we determined what it was. Okay, I think we can just resist it. Maybe, kind of thinking maybe I should roll for this. So what would be appropriate here? Maybe I was thinking resolve, but that's not a thing in this system. No, it is a thing. It is a skill. Yeah, maybe we make a resolve roll to see if we can try to resist this, knowing that it's here. I'll have an advantage on it, and I think if we fail, we'll just have to flee this room because we're unable to get around it. Okay, that's a fail, so we got an 11. plus 6 is 17, which is not 20, so we kind of steel ourselves, head in, but we're not able to see through the illusion. We know that it is an illusion, but we just look around, and rather than seeing the present, like, cold, dark, maybe slightly damaged facility, we see it as it was in the past, and we're having to, like, move along really slowly, really carefully, as we can't trust our vision of the floor in front of us. Yeah, we just can't search for things here. So, conscious of the mind-altering powers of this area, I steel myself and step into and set forth. However, I am unable to see through the illusion. I am aware it is false, but that doesn't help. Or rather, that just means I am moving incredibly slowly as I am. Let's see. I'm aware it is false. That just means I am. Let's split this into two sentences. I'm aware that it is false. However, I'm unable to see the illusion. Colon. I'm aware it is false. But it's still. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to get across that I know the illusion. The illusion takes hold. I know it's not real, so it doesn't fool me. Like, my senses are fooled, but not my. But I know what's really going on. Unable to. Let's go for resist. I'm unable to resist the illusion. It still takes it. It takes my senses completely. I find myself, or I have no choice but to creep along cautiously. Testing the floor before every step. As I cannot trust my eyes, I have no hope of searching for anything useful here. And must retreat. Okay, let's mark this room as searched, I guess. Because we've kind of attempted it, we were just unable to. I want to make it like kind of red, because it's a dangerous room. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Okay, so I think that's gonna... I guess it sounds like the illusion took hold pretty much instantly, so we're going to retreat, which will take one more time, and then we need to rest, which will take up our last time. So we're going to go down 1 oxygen pellet and 1 battery. So we need to be conscious of these things. We do have a lot because we took some oxygen pellets and batteries from the crushed corpses of our comrades. But we do go through these as we explore the site, and we'll go through them on our way back to the planet. Not back to the planet, back to the ship. So we need to make sure that we leave at least 4 oxygen pellets and 2 batteries for the journey back. But we have so many, we need to be in this place for hours. Like, we need to be in this place for like nearly a full day, like 24 hours, before that became a problem. In fact, if we're in here for exactly, it'd be 26 more hours, then we'd have exactly the right amount of oxygen pellets left. We're not going to be in here for 26 hours. We'd be dead at that point. Right, but time did reset, which means we have things to do. So let's find our exploration. Here we go, tracking time. Where is it? Oh, that's the tracking time in the voyage. That's not what I meant. Sight time. What page is it? Let me check the reference. (138). Yeah. Each time the time track resets, it'd be nice if this is on the tracking time page. Each time the time track resets, roll a d10 to perform an activity check. 1 or 2 means I am ambushed by a randomly determined known threat, so I could potentially die now. 2. Okay. 4. It is a Cybane. Let's find this guy. Oh, he looks very very friendly. Okay, so we immediately take 5 stress, I believe it is, for confronting a abomination-y thing. So that brings us up to 19 because we have 5 permanent stress from a previous trauma we got. I think something might happen when you're above 15. Let's have a look. So we're on 19 now. Okay, so at 10 stress they might react negatively. That's yeah, this is kind of being a pain with oh, no, we do have stuff when we're alone. I missed this. Okay, let's roll a resolve check. Okay, we passed that so well, so we're kind of coping, but not very well. However, we do have a -10 to all of our actions because we have more than 15 stress. And -10 is really bad because that probably means... Actually, can you even... like... The only skill rolls we could succeed on are the ones that we have a 10 in, so ranged combat, science, and technology, because the target number is always 20 when you roll. And so if we're rolling a d20 -10, plus our skill, we need a skill of at least 10 to do it, so this is truly awful. I mean, thankfully ranged combat is there, but we need to deal with the stress immediately. How do we deal with stress? Losing stress. Not many of these sound like things we can easily do. Yeah, do I have any drugs on me? Was anything in... we have an alprazolam pill? What is that? Let's check our gear list. Alprazolam reduces stress by 5. Okay. So we could take that and get rid of the penalty. And we only have one on us. So we don't really risk addiction, but that's our only thing. Okay. So we can take some alprazolam. And maybe meditate? Possibly. So I've been playing a bit of what was it called? It's Alien. Alien. It's not Alien Isolation. I can't remember what it's called. The Dark Descent. Yeah. I've been playing some Aliens Dark Descent recently, which is a very fun game. It's a kind of squad-based, like, real-time strategy game. You're controlling a bunch of space marines. And in that, one of the things that the characters can do to calm down, because, dealing with xenomorphs is quite stressful, is they can weld a door shut and just, like, hole up in there for an hour to try to relax a bit. So, that's maybe the equivalent of what I'm doing here, just retreating to a safe room, locking myself in, and relaxing as best I can. So we'll try that, but we have to deal with this Cybane to start with. We should just easily be able to run away from this, though. So let's pick a map, work out where we... Actually, we don't really need to go through the whole setup process, because... Well, depending on where we start. So we roll a d4 to determine where we start and where the enemy starts. And if we start on different sides of the room, I'll be able to run away before it gets to me. So it's only really concerned if we start on the same side of the room. Okay, we're starting on different sides of the room. I got a 3, it got a 2. So I can just run away. So it's fine. So we kind of see this thing in the distance. What room are we in right now? This happened when we got back into Area 1, the broken machine room. So I think probably what happened is we wandered into the kind of mine trap area, thinking we can resist the illusion now that we know that it's there, but we couldn't. We had to make a hurried retreat. We got back into whatever this machine area is. I think on the action and theme table, I rolled that it was like a generator or something, but we don't really understand it. There's just big machines. And we see this thing. How big is it? Size, standard human. It looks bigger than a person. Maybe it's just the perspective. We see this like big, fat, toothy thing. They wear heavy-looking metallic helmets. Okay. So we see this like big, helmeted, naked guy, like moving through the machinery, like off in the distance, and we're just like, nope, not going that way, and like back off down a different corridor. See something through the ranks of machines across the room. A tall, fat man wearing a metal helmet. I almost call out, then I see his fingers are clawed. This is no man. I beat a hasty retreat around the corner. Before he can see me. Or before he sees me. Okay. So, reducing stress. It is a willpower check to meditate. And it doesn't say how long it takes, but I'm going to say, based on the Aliens Dark Descent thing, I'm kind of imagining this as, I'm going to say this takes an hour, so the time tracker is going to reset again. Let's see. We've got our pill here. We don't have our pill here, so I'll just mark it off on here. So we have eaten our delicious alprazolam pill, which reduces our stress by 5. So back to where we were before we saw the Cybane, and now we are going to just lock ourselves in a room and try to relax. And I can re-roll this because I have a point of luck, so that might be worth it. Okay, willpower check. My willpower is 9, so I need an 11 at least. And I got a 6, which is not what I need, so I'm going to spend that point of luck. I think I actually recovered some luck. You get 1 point per session back. So I've actually got 2 luck. Okay, I'll spend 1 point of luck, bringing me back down to 1. And I got a 10. I'm not going to spend another point of luck. I think there's maybe a better use for that. So, okay. I locked myself in a room. Time advances. So another battery and oxygen pellet used up. Still good for over a day in here. We need to roll for another known threats encounter. So that is a 1 or a 2 on the D10. 2, okay. I guess we didn't really get away from the Cybane. We come out and we see it again, so it seems to be like wandering around this area. I'm not going to take the stress for seeing exactly the same creature again. Okay. So I lock myself in some sort of storage cupboard. I lock myself in some sort of storage closet and barricade the door. I take an alprazolam pill. And try to relax. With limited success. After an hour, I carefully remove the barricade. Carefully unbarricade the door. I don't know how you spell unbarricade. Oh, unbarricade isn't in the dictionary. Okay. After an hour, I carefully unbarricade the door and peek out. The big guy is still in the machine room. He seems to be wandering around here. I still might be able to just ignore him. Let's see what he does. So what I'm thinking is I could try fighting this guy, and it looks like it says he does like keep distance and inflicts with like mental attacks. So he's not really going to like physically hurt me, which is good. But some of his mental attacks, like the visceral horrors, this inflicts D20 damage. So him keeping a distance and afflicting with psychic powers isn't really a benefit. So I would quite like to avoid this guy if possible, given that I only have one character at the moment. So I'm going to roll again for which side of the room we encounter each other on. If it's a different side, I think I'll be able to just run away. Nope, we're encountering each other on the same side of the room. Okay, let's bust out combat rolls. We'll pick a battle map. Let's see, which one looks very machine roomy. Maybe this one. Yeah, let's go with this one. Put that there. We then need one character and one monster. I guess it might matter which side of the room we're on, as they're not the same size. Okay, we've got a 1, which is the north. So we'll start him over on the left side. I guess there. And me over on the right side. So I should just be able to step off the map. Unless he crushes me with some sort of mental powers in the very first round of combat. So now I need to roll initiative. He has surprised me, so he gets a +2 to his initiative. Does he have any speed? No. Okay, so it's just going to be an opposed D10 roll. See who goes first. He will have a +2. I'll just be rolling, rolling a straight die. Okay, he definitely beat me in the initiative. So it is the Cybane's turn. So he picks a random target at the start of each round. That's me. I am the random target. He has an attack range of 12. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I am in attack range. So let's determine what he does. And this 2 to 5 range, not what they appear. This relates to 2 characters. So I'll just re-roll if I get a 2 to 5. Because it wouldn't make sense for him to pick that. 4. 4. 5. 9. This is the bad one. Visceral horror. The target suffers terrible visions, violent enough to cause them chest pain like their heart is threatening to burst. The target suffers D20 damage. Oops, that bounced out. 13. So, in the system, damage only really matters if it beats your con, which it does. I have a pretty bad con. This is a perfect opportunity for my luck roll. Okay, let's spend my last point of luck and reroll this damage. Still probably going to get 7 or higher, but you never know. That's even worse. 18. Okay, so it's higher than my con. So that means I... what's the term? I'm knocked down, I think, is what the term is. Yes, I am knocked down. The good news is, when you're knocked down, you can still crawl 1 hex around. So I can still escape because I didn't die. But I'm knocked down, so the big guy just... So I described it as I came out of the closet and saw the big guy. So maybe he's like close to me now. Like originally I saw him across a room and I was able to like duck around the corner, but maybe like I come out and he's actually quite close to the room, which is why he sees me immediately this time. I think, oh, this is going to be bad. He looks big, he looks tough, he looks strong, but he doesn't come running towards me like monsters typically have. Instead, he just like looks at me, as best as I can tell through this like weird metal helmet he's wearing, and then I feel the worst pain in my life. Just falls to the ground, like clutching my guts, crying in pain. And essentially, like, look when I could see the big guys kind of looking down at me through my like tear blurred vision. All I can do is like cry and crawl. But it is my turn, and cry and crawl is what I'm going to do. So it does feel a little bit gamey in this situation. You can just escape combat by making off the edge of the map in any direction. So I'm going to do that, and I have now escaped combat, even though I'm like crawling away like a baby. Okay, that is combat done. Let's see if I took any stress for being knocked down. Facing danger, probably. Yeah, I think I'll get 2 stress for facing danger. So I'm back up in the 15 stress, -10 to all actions zone. The big guy sees me before I can hide again. He looks tough. No, or rather, he doesn't approach me. He just looks at me. And suddenly I'm in the worst pain I have ever felt in my life. I fall to the ground. Clutching my guts. Only able to crawl and cry. But when I drag myself down a corridor, he does not pursue. That could have gone much worse. So I think time passes for the combat, and time passes when we move to a new area. So let's see, where are we going? I guess we're moving into this room here, room 6. So let's see what this is. Right, so we need to roll for what sort of place it is. I guess we can also see what the connection is like. 18. Areas are directly connected. Okay, so either there's like a doorway opening directly into this new place we've got to, or there's like a short corridor at most. The big guy still feels very close, but does not seem to be pursuing us. As for what we find here, hopefully it's full of money. That would be very nice. 1. Encounter. Oh no. This is the first encounter. The crew runs into something. This is really good news. The first encounter that we've had here. So, I guess I'm going to roll it up. So it is an elite encounter, so that's very bad, given that we are alone. But, again, we might just be able to escape it. Let's see. Nope, we're on the same side of the room. But we're on side number 2 this time. Which is the east, the long side. So unless it's a fast creature, we can just move away. So we'll see what sort of creature it is. If it's not fast or have like cross map powers, it's fine. We don't need to go through the whole process. Alright, so it is an elite creature. Or an elite encounter, rather. It is one creature. Yes, the game does have difficulty scaling. So in principle, this is beatable because it is much weaker than an elite encounter the full crew of 5 would have faced. But I still don't fancy my chances. We are on a planet surface. I guess. Yeah, we're on a planet surface. It is local fauna. Okay. I'm kind of curious what this is. Let's go ahead and roll up the full creature. I'll just start a new text box. So, elite creature, local fauna. I'm rolling lots of high numbers. It is cow to alligator sized. That's a really weird range. I'm thinking it's... Well, I guess, this doesn't really relate to what it looks like, but I'm picturing more alligator than cow, because we are up a mountain here. And I don't think of cows as particularly mountaineering creatures, whereas I could imagine a crocodile... Like, obviously crocodiles don't live up mountains in reality, but if this was some hypothetical world in which they did, I would be less surprised to see like a crocodile climbing up a mountain, because it's like very low to the ground, has very good stability, good center of gravity, than a cow climbing up a mountain. So I'm thinking like alligator sized. Alligator sized. That's +2 damage. What does it want to do? Parasitization. Oh, that's awful. He wants to implant me with eggs. And how smart is it? Human-like... No, it's 1 to 7. Animal-like intelligence. Okay. 6 minus 1d4. Okay, 2 intelligence. So it is as dumb as a rock. Right, okay, so it is an elite. We should be doing this over by the creature sheet, actually, which is, yeah, this one. So let's fill this in. We need to come up with a name. I'll just put in some blank text boxes. Type is... was type that it's elite? Or is that a different thing? No, the type is local fauna. Yes, yes. Local fauna, alligator sized. Drive is parasitization, and intelligence is animal-like. For its stats, we have 14 strength, 14 dex, 12 con, 12 will, 2 intelligence, and 0 charisma. And then got 2 wounds. (15 awareness). And 4 armor or defense. Okay, let's 50-50 it. has armor. We've got like a tough hide or something. The damage is either attack plus 8, damage 2d12, or attack plus 4, damage 2d10 plus 5. Okay, its attack is... Guess that goes here. Attack is plus 4. 2d10 plus 5. Range, if applicable. I guess we'll find out as we go, maybe. If the range matters. And then we have the reactions. So let's just roll 3 dice in one go for that. And we don't have a separate box for this. Okay, so when bloodied, it is plus 2 defense. When it is cornered, it is plus 5 damage, plus 5 defense. Okay, it's a very defensive creature, that's good. And when it's overwhelmed, it is minus 2 defense. It's awareness that's 15. Right. Wounds 2, defense. Right, so defense starts at 0 and it has a bunch of things that'll boost its defense. Where do we put awareness in here? Is there not a box for awareness? Seems a weirdly lacking thing. What did I do for the other site? Yeah, I just put it over here because there isn't space in the box for it. That's strange. Okay. Let's just put it here, sure. Alright, I think that's that stat block dealt with. So then we need to choose its role. Six. It is ranged. Oh, come on. So that means we do need to look at the range here. The range is D10 plus 3. I wonder if this means I should roll that, like the parentheses mean I should roll it now. No, surely I don't like pre-roll the damage. That'd be weird. But I should pre-roll the range because range for things is normally constant. Okay, 4 range. Is there space for range on here? No. Let's put it there then, I guess. Right, and we get 2 rolls on the ability table. So we will get to that in a moment. So as a ranged creature, ranged creatures favor range attacks over their melee ability, so they get -1 strength, +1 dex, -1 con, +1 will. What will has to do with range attacks? +1 to hit location rolls. Let's just... And its ranged attack skill is, so it is +2 melee, +6 ranged. I feel these monster sheets really don't have enough space for all the details. There's a slight criticism. Like this, The small sheet is quite nice, but like it looks nice, but there just isn't space for all the things. And it has +2 awareness. Right, then it's behavioral guidelines. I guess we'll just copy this in. I'm not typing that out again. Just put it here. And we need to decide on these things, so we have 3 50/50s again. Okay, we're using the left option for all of them. Oh, use its secondary attack if applicable, or use its main attack. Might need to change this if we don't roll up a second ability for it. Use a special ability. Use a piece of gear. Okay, we may have to fall back depending on what we roll on the abilities table. We get a unique trait. So much rolling for something I'm hopefully not going to have to fight. +2 will, -2 con. Okay, so it is quite feeble actually. So that's nice. And then it gets 2 rolls in the ability table. Alright. 4 and 11. It has cleave / spread shot and immune. If the creature passes a skill check, it makes a wide attack that hits all opponents in range, dealing 2d10 damage. Okay, that's actually strictly worse than its standard attack, so I hope it uses that. So that's its secondary attack there, so we got that. Just copy the cleave definition in. And immune. This creature is immune to the effects of heat, cold, and even radiation. That makes perfect sense because this is a volcano world. So something that is unbothered by volcanoes is definitely in its element here. Okay, I think... Oh, no, I forgot the appearance. Okay, I think that's all of its abilities rolled up, so it doesn't have a special ability that it can use. So you can have to use main attack then. It doesn't have gear. Okay. So 1 to 4 uses main attack. 5 uses secondary attack. 6 to 7 maneuvers to take advantage of the terrain. And then 8 to 10 uses main attack again. So the general appearance is arachnid. And yet it fires ranged attacks. Maybe it has a kind of scorpion-like tail that shoots things, perhaps. It is covered with feathers. That was not my mental image. Okay. Kind of feathered scorpion spider thing. And it has suckers. Ugh. So maybe it can like climb up walls and ceilings and things by like sticking and making noise as it walks. How many limbs is this arachnid going to have? It'd be funny if it had no limbs. It just kind of flops around. Okay. Got a lot of dice to roll if we can hopefully get all this page done in one go. Okay, it has... it is bipedal. In what sense is this a spider-like creature if it is bipedal and feathered? But I think a bipedal creature can only move 1 hex per turn. So it's actually... I can actually outrun this. So that's fine. This is exactly what we wanted. Its limbs... Oh, limbs aquatic. So we don't care about that. Forelimbs, if it is terrestrial. Hands, I guess. Does it even have forelimbs? If it's bipedal? Yeah, I guess it has forelimbs. Yeah, it probably has arms. Why not? So it has pincers there. Its hind limbs are none. That doesn't make sense. Obviously it has hind limbs because the hind limbs are the feet. So let's just reroll that. 1. 3. It has hooves. This is not a spider. A hooved bipedal creature with like pincer hands and suckers that has some sort of ranged attack. It's not a spider. Right, mouth then. We got 6 for the mouth. It has a trunk. It's one of those situations that makes me wish I could draw, because I want to see what this creature is. Eyes. It apparently has no eyes. So it has no eyes, but it uses ranged attacks. Maybe it's using like echolocation. No, I think that just doesn't make sense that it has no eyes. It has side-facing eyes. Actually, I'm just going to say it has eye stalks. Side-facing eyes don't really make sense for a ranged attack either. So it has... got 9 there. It has 8 side... So at least got the right number of eyes for an arachnid. 8 eyes. And then we finally need a name for it. It is a 3-syllable name. And it's a D100 table. Okay. It is a EO Cal Sis. There we go. An Eocalcis. It is a type of local creature. It is immune to like... Oh, it doesn't care about heat, which is a good adaptation if you live on a volcanic hell world. It somehow looks arachnid-like, though it is a bipedal, kind of very large creature. Like imagine like an alligator standing upright. That is how big it is. So bigger than a person. It is covered with feathers, and it has like 2 clawed hands and hooved feet, 2 of them. It also has an elephant-like trunk for a mouth, so the trunk, like it doesn't have a mouth and a trunk, it just has a trunk coming out of like the lower half of its face. Oh, ooh, no, it has eye stalks, 8 eye stalks. I think the face maybe looks something like this. So we've got a round face with like eye stalks coming off it. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with little eyes on the end, kind of horrible little face thing. These can look in all directions, I guess, and it also has just like a trunk coming out of the middle of its face, so like a big trunk like thing, which let's get rid of the circle there. So they've got like a big let's draw this from the front. So we'll get the end of the trunk here. Got a big trunk thing coming out of its face. And I think the trunk is just... so let's switch over to red. A lamprey-like mouth. So just like pointy teeth. Maybe even going like the whole length of the trunk. The entire interior of the trunk just lined with like small pointy teeth. Maybe it just looks arachnid-like because it's got the 8 eyes. Maybe we just look at it and think, I have no idea what this thing is, but its face looks kind of like a spider. That's the only arachnid connection I can see here. Yeah, I wouldn't like to meet this guy in a dark alley or even a very well-lit alley, really. It can only move 1 hex per turn, though, so... and it has a ranged attack of 4, and we're both starting on the east, so... we would start at opposite ends of the east side, which is more than 4 hexes, so... more than 5 hexes. Even if it wins initiative, it will take multiple rounds for it to close with us, so we can just get away from it. So, it's fine. Okay, so we encounter that's the room, which encounter a thing. So let's work out what sort of room this is, perhaps. So we can't like search it for scrap because there is a wild animal here. But we can at least get a sense of what sort of place this is, and give it a descriptive name. We've got serve gear. Maybe it's a like storage room. I mean, this is an area rather than a room. It's like a big storage facility. Yeah, or possibly it's message. You could have serve gear, serve message, or defend. Defend gear could be like an armory, though it's kind of sad if we're in an armory and can't take anything. Maybe message is a good place. Maybe this is also full of machinery. The machinery kind of continues into this room, and where like we still don't really know what it is, but it looks maybe like some sort of alien radio stuff. You can barely make heads or tails of it, but we can see things that look like they might be related to radios. So whether it's for sending messages or like scanning something or whatever, we don't really know. But that's what it is. We can't really check it out carefully because we encountered this creature and just have to keep on moving. So it is a radiography room. Let's put it down like that. We're also still... So I think when we're not like knocked down from the previous combat, I think that condition recovers when combat ends. But I think narratively we're still, still pretty shaken from the fight we just ran away from. So we're not eager to get in another fight. Okay, radiography room. So or like big bundles of cables. Enter this adjoining room and hook into yet more machinery, or disappear into yet more machinery. But this place is trashed. It looks, let's see, things have been ripped off the walls. I see broken communication equipment. I see loose cables, loose chewed through cables. It looks like a nest. And inside the nest, I see the nest maker. I see a creature. A large creature. Its face looks almost like a spider. With 8 eye stalks protruding out. Look, its face looks almost like a spider's body. Obviously, spiders don't have eye stalks. Its face looks almost like a spider's body, with 8 eye stalks protruding out at all angles. There is also a large elephantine trunk that ends in a lamprey-like mouth. Isn't it unfair that some animals get like a cool word to describe a thing like them, like elephantine, but other creatures have to say like? Why isn't lamprey a word? You know, you get leonine for lion, like, but lamprey is definitely not a word. Google's just telling me I probably mean the word lamprey, but no. Maybe it's only the cool animals that get descriptive words. Okay, there's a lamprey-like mouth lined with teeth. I run away. Before I can close the distance. Deeper into the facility because I dare not return to the machine room with the big guy. Okay, so I think we should start marking more rooms as red that have active dangers in. So the entrance room, it's got a known threat wandering around here. This room has the whatever it was called. The Eocalcis. So we can't enter these red rooms without risk. It would be nice if you could find like this room here. But we'll see. So we know that there's at least one other exit from this room because we just said we went through. I guess we should maybe roll for how many exits there are. Let's go for a D3 of yeah, a D3 of rooms. Okay, two exits from room 6, so that'll be the one we came in by, and this one we've gone out through. So time has passed as we have moved into a new area. And let's see what we've got here. I hope it's not another encounter. That would be very, very sad. Right, so what sort of connection do we go through? 2. A simple hallway with a 20% chance of an ambush. No ambush. Oh, okay. We find ourselves in a room with a random occurrence. Okay. So every site had an original purpose. This purpose, combined with its story and overall description, are meant to be used as reference points to create unique discoveries and challenges with the help of the following tables. Okay. Feels not great that the type of occurrence table is on the following page to the first table telling you what it is. But okay, let's roll for what type of occurrence we've got. I hope it's a discovery, that would be nice. 3, an event. That's not inherently bad. 3, strange noises. Okay. Strange noises. This was original purpose was a vault, and it is now overrun by creatures. Oh, we should also need to check off an encounter because we have rolled one of the known threat encounters. And we only have 5 available. Mark that off at that end as well. Okay, so this place was a vault. It has... Oh, I forgot there's just a constant ongoing -5 on all rolls because of psychic disturbances. I'll try to remember that going forward. I also have a -5 for anything involving my hands because I have like broken fingers or something. So I'm not in good shape really. Which is another reason to hope to avoid combat. Okay, so strange noises. This place was originally some sort of vault. We've established there are psychic disturbances, like weird hallucinations. Maybe we've like wandered into another hallucination zone. But rather than seeing the past, now we kind of hear the past. So we hear strange things, like possibly speech, don't know, hard to say. But it's all kind of like muffled, as if we're like hearing it distantly through a solid wall. And we can't really make out anything. So just strange noises, but it doesn't sound like it's dangerous. And let's also get a action and theme to help us flesh out what this room is. Okay, so we have 84 deflects fights. Okay. I don't really know what that means in this situation. Yeah, I don't know. We'll leave this as a mysterious, unknown room. I begin to hear things. Strange things. Sounds almost like speech. But muffled. And from a great distance. And yet somehow present here at the same time. I think this is another illusion. But at least this one does not seem to be affecting my sight. Perhaps this is not an immediate threat. In fact, I think it is so not an immediate threat, I'm going to search the room for scrap. So this is a technology check, an RSAF technology check. I have a 5 in that, but I have a -5 because of psychic disturbances. So I'm just rolling a d20 and I want to hit 20. Nope. So time passes from searching, but I don't get anything good out of it. Mark this place as searched. And say that we looked around but didn't find anything useful. Not necessarily useful, anything valuable. Okay, how many exits do we think we've got from this place? So I think it doesn't link up with room 5 here, because, I mean, this isn't like an actual layout, this is more of a schematic map. But we know it doesn't link up with room 5 here because we've already fleshed out the exits for there. And there could potentially be like maybe 2 more exits. Okay, I've rolled a 2, which with my normal D3 interpretation, that would be 1 exit, which we've got the 1 exit, so maybe we've entered a dead end. And we need to go back and evade the 2 monsters if we want to explore more. I was kind of hoping that we would be able to travel like deeper in this direction, and eventually we would, you know, have something that kind of links back around to this room here, and then we only need to get past this creature when we leave, rather than getting past this one, and this one, and then this one again. But I suppose we're not so lucky. We could try stealth roll, and we won't even need to like cheese our way out of the combat. So what is my stealth? I feel it's pretty bad. Okay, I can't succeed on a stealth roll with the -5 penalty from the psychic badness. So, I wonder, let's see, encounters. If I just escaped it, I think things actually described in the combat rolls. If I just escape the encounter, is the creature still there? I think it probably is. Or is there a chance that it might leave? Let's just see what it says here about escaping combats. Yep, you escaped when you exit the area from any side of the combat grid, and then it doesn't say what happens. You know, because if encountering something is a random event, it makes sense they wouldn't stick around forever. I don't know, we'll say every time we pass through a room that's got a bad creature, and there's like a 1 in 10 chance that it's moved on, and then we'll maybe encounter it somewhere else. It's 1 in 10 too low, let's go for 1 in 6. Okay, it's still there. And then may as well roll for the next room as well. Okay, they're both still there. So let's just avoid some combats. Okay, we come through on the same side of the room in this one, but can it actually hit us? It's got a ranged attack, so maybe. Range 4. How wide is a combat grid? So I think they're both coming in on the north. So we'd be like here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. It can move 1, 5. So it can't close and hit us before we escape. So I think we're fine unless the Cybane wins initiative. So we move through. I need to update time. Very important to update time because we might have more random encounters. We need to rest at least once an hour, so time resets. Mark off more oxygen and batteries. We are slowly working our way through stuff. And we need to roll to see if we have an ambush. No, we're fine. Okay, then we move into the Cybane room. We do not start on the same side. We are going to start on the north, and it starts on the west. And we start at the maximum possible distance apart. So we start in like this corner here, and it starts in this corner down here. The Cybane's range is 12, I think. 12. So let's count hexes here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We can only move 1, so 13. So it can get close to us if it wins initiative, but not in range. So again, we're fine. So let's then go north. We know this is a safe place. We'll then go north again into this new area. So 2 more units of time gone. Alright, so it was, no, then we've passed through areas 6, 1, and 5. There's nothing. Yes, there's nothing, and it is a dead end. I hurry back through areas already visited, evading the monsters, so that I can progress deeper into the facility. And hope I find anything worth taking. Right, so we're going to a new area now, Area 8. See what we got and what sort of room it is. The connector is stairs going down. Okay, so we're on this lower level here again. And it is a xenoanthropological artifact. Ooh. That sounds fun. I descend a staircase. Ooh, not had one of these before. You find D4 artifacts. Oh, this is great. How much does an artifact go for? Varies immensely. Possibly worthless. Ooh. Okay. So even if we got the maximum 4 on this. Oh, additionally, characters get paid 5 per find type. Resources, gone for each, and for each recorded encounter. Okay, so we are going to get a little bit extra change. Let's see, how many have we got? 2. Okay, so unless they're both priceless artifacts. I also find it funny that a priceless artifact only buys you 2 weeks stay at the. Not even 2. It doesn't even buy you 2 weeks stay at the hotel because the hotel is 50 credits a week, and there's a 1 credit a day air tax. So a 2-week stay at the hotel is 114 credits, and a priceless artifact is 100 credits. They really really nickel and dime you. Okay, let's see what we got. We have a 6-inch concave metal disc that hovers above any surface. It is warm to the touch. And small coin-shaped fragments of an unknown, extremely hard material. One side of each is engraved with a sigil. This is light. This is... They're both light. Okay, so I'll say we... Light things stack 10 to a slot, so we can fit both of these in the same slots, so that's good. Let's put them down here. Xeno artifacts 5 and 10. So having found 2 artifacts now, yep. Okay, we can also search the room. Let's roll for that. So we just need to hit a 20 on a d20. We did it! We got a 20 on a d20. Okay, so this is a good room. So we've got another room worth of scrap. So, ignoring the artifacts because they have variable value, we just need 100 more credits to level up. So ideally we'd have one more find, I think, and then we'd leave. It would be very unsatisfying if we got back and it's like, oh, we're at 1,995 XP or whatever. So maybe 2 more finds, I don't know. Right, so I descend the staircase. What sort of room are we in? Return. Obstacle. Not really sure what the obstacle could be, but return. Maybe it's. I keep saying all these rooms like storage rooms. Maybe it's like a. Maybe this facility we found. No, we know it's a vault. I was about to say maybe it's like a mine. No, we know it's a vault. I mean, a vault has to store things. That's what a vault does. It locks things away. So we found a room that has 2 artifacts in and a bunch of valuable scrap. So I'll just call it artifact room. I descend a staircase, which debouches, was a good word to use, into a large round chamber. With dozens of small, or short, I guess, square pillars, rising to a height of about 4 feet. Most are empty, but a few have things the purpose of which I cannot guess. You hold on one, hovering above one is, what was it, a disc or something? A small concave metal dish. Oh, a small metal dish that feels slightly warm. Atop another are a couple of engraved coins. I take those and gather up the rest as scrap. These finds could be worth a fortune, in quotation marks. Or be useless junk. Depending on the whims of Drake Industries. Okay. Let's see how many exits we got from this room. We have one more exit. Let's go. Let's check out one more room. Just one more room. Come on, one more room, bro. One more room, and then we'll leave, I think. Possibly famous last words. Right, let's see the time tracker. So some time passed as we searched, and we then spent one more unit of time going north. It is a hallway, 20% chance of an ambush. Actually, I was said that's the ambush chance. So no ambush, and what is it? A hazard manifestation. So another weird psychic trap room. Klaxon going off in my brain that hides something of value. Okay, okay, I think what it looks like is, I think I passed through what seems like a really just long, empty corridors, but actually there is valuable stuff here I'm just unable to perceive. Where is the next chamber? This corridor seems endless. Just featureless walls. Right, and do we have any exit from this room? I know I said one more room. I meant one more find. That's a D20. That's not what I use for determining doors. Okay, we do have one more door out of this place. That's another unit of time. How are we doing on time again? Okay, we now need to rest. So we spent 1 unit of time moving north. We then spend a unit of time resting. We tick over all things. So 1 more oxygen pellet, 1 more battery, and we have a 2 in 10 chance of having a random encounter. No, we're good. Okay, let's see where we have ended up now. Okay, so we go for this really long, what seems like a really long corridor, but actually it's like rooms full of gold or whatever. And then it opens up into the next area, which is a dread event. So 11. Looks like we triggered some defense protocol. All guardians encountered have +1 max rooms. So I guess maybe we have to like a security checkpoint. Let's see what it looks like. 83 build 97 sanity. Build sanity. This doesn't feel a very sane place. You could really tenuously interpret build sanity as a security checkpoint because it is making whatever is beyond it safer. And safe things are sane things. I say checkpoint. Since it's a security checkpoint, there has to be at least one other exit from here. Otherwise, why would you have a dead-end corridor with a security checkpoint at the end? So, one other exit. Okay. Enter a small square room. Oh, the endless corridor. Finally ends in a small square room. Or is interrupted by a small square room. When I set foot inside, red lights begin to flash, and an alarm sounds. Nothing seems to happen. Nothing approaches. But I have alerted something. Best not to stay. Right, let's keep moving. So I frame this as an interruption in the corridor. So the corridor continues on for a little bit, and then we will enter the next room. So let's not bother rolling the connection type, as it is a corridor 5. Is that also a dread event? If it was, I'll re-roll because that's boring. Oh no, hazard manifestation. Okay. Oh, now hang on. Let's go back. We could search the checkpoint room unsuccessfully. Okay, let's mark that as unsuccessful searching. And did I search this room? I didn't search this room. Let's retroactively search. No, I did search this room. I think. Okay, hazard manifestation room. It attracts the unwanted attention of a creature. Okay, this is presumably the guardian who has been alerted by the alarm. Okay. Right, so encounter. How many encounters do we have here? What sort of site is this? This is a medium site, so we have D6 for encounters. If we get a 1, it'll be the thing we encountered before. It is a new thing. Honestly, I'm not going to bother rolling it up since we can just run away. Yeah, we're on different sides of the room. We just run away. So I see something stirring in the darkness and just book it back down the corridor. A little beyond the checkpoint, the corridor opens into a large chamber. I spy movement across the room, however, and some creature alerted by the noise and immediately run back the way I came. Suddenly lost my connection. Immediately run back the way I came without stopping to look. Okay, so that was the units. So if we move back to room 10, let's look at a little schematic map. So we can move back into room 9. We don't know that this is a room though, so we're not going to search this. I'll just mark this as not searching. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we have to rest. Mark off our things, check for random encounters. I think it is time to just leave at this point. Like, we've gone through a few more rooms. We've not found anything worth taking. We just keep running into threats. We're really pushing our luck by being here. Got this like little annoying thing in the, like a little mini map in the corner. Can I get rid of this Oops. Can I get rid of this mini-map that they've just added with the helpful update? Send feedback. I'd like a way to turn off the minimap. Brownie face. That's really bugging me being in the corner. I'm going to check options. Oh, it is gone. Okay. But there didn't seem to be a way to make it go away without reloading the page. Whatever. It's gone now. Okay. So we go back to all the way back to room 5. So go back through 10, 9, 8. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 5. Time reset, so we might have an encounter. Nope. Okay, so now in room 5, there is an unexplored room back over here, so we could go check that out. The little loot goblin in my mind is telling me to go check it out because I might not level up a second time. Alright, let's go do it. So I'll go back into room 4. What was room 4? A weird psychic archive thing. So, okay, we'll go back there. I move back towards the exit, but then remember an unexplored doorway leading out of the archive. Okay, a new area 12. Let's advance time 2 more ticks. If this room has a monster that kills me, I'll be very sad, but it will also be entirely justified, as I pushed my luck way too far. Okay. Right. So we don't have... So it's a normal corridor with no ambush. And it is a 9. 9 is the nature of the room. 9. A fixed event. Okay. 13. That was a lucky one. This area is riddled with small tunnels that form the hive of a local abomination. Excess noise could awaken the hive. Each character must pass a stealth check or they're in trouble. The creatures will not give chase beyond the hive. Okay. So maybe this is more like local plant life or something. Not plant life. Local flora. Fauna. Fauna, that's the word. Local animal life. Okay. Well, I can't succeed on a stealth check because I have a -5 penalty to everything because of the psychic demons. So there's no point rolling. Let's see. Area 12. Nest. Which I need to add to my map. Here we go. Okay, all of the possible exits now are... All the further rooms for exploration are all dangerous. So it is time to leave this site. Right. This room, it's hard to tell what this room was. As the walls, floor, and ceiling are riddled with small, natural-looking holes. Or tunnels, I guess. My foot disturbs some rubble, making a quiet noise. All at once, I hear hissing and scratching coming from the tunnels. It is time to leave. Let's roll those d4s, see what side of the room we start on. Same side of the room. Okay, I need to know if this is a thing. We're starting on the north, which is bad because that's the narrow side of the room. Okay, so I do need to know what range this thing has. Right, so it is... What was it? Was it hard, it said? Okay, it is a hard swarm. I don't know what hard is. Does it mean elites? We have easy, standard, elite, and overwhelming. Swarms don't have range attacks, though, I guess. Yeah, swarms don't have range attacks, so I can outrun it. It's fine. Right, it is time to leave. So we're going to then move back to... Oh, wait, room 5, so go back through two area connections, so 2 needs a time pass. We'll need to rest because we won't be able to make it out of the dungeon in time. So let's do our rest now. And potentially have an encounter. Nope, we're doing very well on those encounter rolls. But we do have resources to check down. Okay, right, so we make it back to... So we go back through rooms 4 and 5. Once again, I return to the exit. Now, I said there's a 1 in 6 chance that things would have moved on. It has not moved on. The thing is still... The big guy, the Cybane, is still there. So, we need to see if we can outrun him. We are starting on the same side. We're starting on the south. I think that is. I think it's northeast, southwest. Or possibly northwest, southeast. So we're starting on a short side, so we are in range of his telepathy. So we do need to... we need to play out 1 round of combat because he could win the initiative and hit us. But even if we are knocked down after that round, we can just retreat and get out. So we don't need the map, really. Let's roll initiative. It's just straight up opposed D10 because neither side is surprising the other. We win initiative. We move first. We move out. Okay, so once again, I return to the exits. The big guy isn't in sight. So I run run towards the exit. I hear him lumbering into the room behind me, alerted by the noise. But I am out and descending the volcano before he can do whatever it is he did last time. Okay, and I think you might be able to move the 2 hexes north to the ship now, because we've already been through this territory. So let's just check. It's like roll for encounters, perhaps. Each time the party enters a new hex, roll d10. 1 to 2 means they encounter a known threat. Okay. So we move north. We are not ambushed. We move north again. We are not ambushed. Okay, so we're just going to mark off 4 oxygen, 2 batteries. Okay, right, so these are... What hex are these? 37 and 29. I hurry north to the ship and prepare for takeoff. Okay, we do need to play out the flight back home, which could go very smoothly or terribly. We have enough resources to get back because, well, we had enough even for the full crew to get back, but now we don't have those pesky crew members breathing and eating with us, so we can just go back. But there might be events that happen in the journey, so we'll need to go through that, and I'm just going to take a short break before doing that, so I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Ready to fly back to Karam Station and sell our loot, and I really hope we get the 2000 XP, because, as I said, I'll be very, very sad if I have like 1995 experience points or something. Right, traveling. Voyage through the black. The voyage is, without doubt, the worst part of any expedition. I don't know, we had 3 people die. We had 4 people die. 1 abducted by some horrible monster, 3 killed in a landslide. That sounds pretty bad to me. Okay. Right, so we have random travel events. We don't need to roll for when we arrive because we know the journey time. It's a 4-week journey, I think. Yes, so we just have a cumulative 20% chance of something weird happening as we go. So let's just roll those. So 20%. That's week 1. Week 2, 40%. Week 3, 50%. No, 60% rather. Okay, something weird happens in week 3. And then week 4. Okay, we have 2 weird things happen. 1 in week 3, 1 in week 4. Alright, we have got a ship malfunction in week 3. Uh-oh. And then what do we get in week 4? Another ship malfunction. Oh god. The cabin begins to depressurize. Intentional sabotage? Oh no. Okay, I mean, I have a vac suit. A hard technology check. That means I don't just need to succeed, I need to succeed with like a certain threshold. I do have very good technology. I am going to say, though, that this is something I'm doing with my hands, which means I get a -5 to it, so not great. A natural 20, so I got 25, the best possible result. Is that even enough to be a hard success, though? Let's see. Rolls. In this, okay, skill checks. Yep. Hard. You're rolling with a -10. So I did not succeed that roll. The cabin begins to depressurize. I think because... So I'm going to say because I've got all of the air for multiple people for like weeks of journey. I have, let's see, how many person weeks of air do I have at this point? So I bought 5 more. So I have 7. No. I have 6 per person. Okay, so it was a crew of 5. And they had 7. We had 7 tanks left, so I have 35 person weeks of oxygen. That's enough. So maybe I like once a week I have to like hold my breath for a minute while I change the air tank on my vac suit. But I can do it. I can make my way out of this. So that's bad, but not fatal. What about the second ship malfunction? The lavatory malfunctions, causing an unpleasant mess. All crew members gain D10 stress. Okay, honestly, that doesn't really make sense if I'm wearing a vac suit for weeks. I'm just going to the toilet while wearing my vac suit. It's gonna smell. Maybe the bad thing here is that I just... No, I think it makes sense to re-roll that. Issue with the air recycler causes default oxygen tanks to be consumed before the crew realizes it and fixes the problem. Okay, so that makes sense. Maybe I just waste a bunch of air in this like handover process where I need to switch between air tanks once a week, because these oxygen tanks are designed to be like plugged into something in the ship. I'm like plugging into my vac suit, so maybe it's like consuming air faster because it's not a perfect seal, or like just a bunch of oxygen is lost every time I change over or something. But I go through a lot more oxygen, but because I have so much oxygen, it's fine. Okay, so it's a really horrible journey, but it is only 1 week that I'm trapped in my vac suits. So, the journey home. Um, 3 weeks into the journey, the ship begins to depressurize. Thankfully, I have enough oxygen tanks to get by in my vac suits. Okay, that was relatively uneventful. I mean, it could have been much worse. Like, we could have had like a weird time dilation effects, which, like the space anomalies, we'd lose a whole week. We receive a wound. We arrive back months later than we should have done. Get stress every day as there's a weird tapping coming from outside the hull. Yeah, it's pretty bad. We can get a miss jump, which I believe a miss jump is, yeah, time dilation. So we could potentially have been trapped in here for like months, which would mean we don't have enough oxygen. So, you know, having to spend a week in a vac suit, peeing myself, that's not as bad as it could have been. So we do make it back, and we get that sweet, sweet money and XP. And everyone thinks we killed the crew to take it for ourselves, because I'm the only surviving witness. Okay, let's see how much those xenoanthropological artifacts are worth. So we have 2 of them. If it's... I really hope it's worth like a meaningful amount of money. Trivial. So they look at the coins and they're like, why did you bother bringing this to us? And they look at the floating thing and they're like, thanks, I'll just put that with the other floating discs. And the guy just like takes the disc and walks over to a door and opens it, and I just see like hundreds of small floating discs in there, and he just like chucks it in and shuts the door. Okay, let's work out what we've got here. So we have so data crystals are worth 50. We have 10 of them. Alloy cubes are worth 75. We have 3 of them. Scrap is worth 100. We have 3 scraps. We have 10 from an artifact, and we get 5 per find type. It's also xenoanthropological. So that's another 10. And 1 per recorded encounter. So how many things did we encounter? We encountered 1 on the planet's surface. And then we had, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 encounters in total. So the money we're getting from this is 1,070. Which brings us to 1,945 XP. So close to leveling up a second time. We briefly have 1,104 Drake coins, but then they're like, now pay us 8 weeks of hotel fees. So we're down to 648 after the hotel and the oxygen costs. I'm very sad that we only got the level at once, but okay, let's go to let's see, improving your character. Here we go. Alright, so each level grants you 1 role on the talent table, page 19. We can have 5 talent slots. Okay. I thought it was 3 for some reason. Alright, so D100. Talent 39. Field Medic. You have advantage on all medical aid checks. I've just seen too many people die. Maybe I go on a first aid course. Oh, I totally forgot we only get 50% of the money back. Oh, geez. Okay, we have way less money then. So, let's see. So we have 569 credits at the end, and then we minus the hotel costs and the air costs. 8 weeks, 57 credits a week. We have 100. So we started this mission with 34 Drake coins. After all the expenses and everything, we have 113 Drake coins. I think I must have forgot the 50% on the previous mission, because there's no way I'd be able to buy like all the extra oxygen tanks and stuff. But wow, Drake really screws you over. Okay, so we've got a talents on even levels. You get 1 skill point. Where do I want to put this thing? I want to put this in Arthur Technology. Every 3 levels you get an attribute point, and that's it. Okay, so if we had leveled up again, we would have got an extra talent and an extra attribute point. So, yes, we have the wounds. How do we heal wounds? I hope we don't have to pay for treatment. That would suck. Maybe it happens in... Let's have a look at Karam Station. Is there like... There's going to be some stupidly expensive medical facility. I was thinking, you know, we've come back with a load of money. We don't need to split it with anyone. Maybe we just have a little bit of downtime. In fact, we can roll some downtime. You know, maybe we just spend a while taking it easy, but we can't. We, like, after 2 weeks, we'll have almost no money left, and we'll need to go out again. So the reward for going out to a horrible volcanic hell world and seeing your 4 crew members die horribly is you get a 2-week vacation. But you'll be broke after the 2 weeks. Medical center. Here we go. I think we have level 2 medical insurance. Okay, so we don't have any critical injuries. We do have radiation, but we can't afford to deal with it. And we do have some traumas. But I don't think I can afford that either. So this doesn't mention normal wounds. So I guess normal wounds will just recover after a while. So, okay, let's mark off our... Let's say we just spend like a week recuperating. So we'll mark off this wound and our stress. We still have our 5 minimum stress. And we constantly have a nervous cough because your nervous tick shows up when you have 3 stress, I think. Okay, right, so downtime. Oh no, let's just make it up. We feel very sad that we have so little money. So the journey home, we have this horrible experience 3 weeks in. We arrive after arriving at the docks. I arrive at the docks. And am questioned by an unsympathetic security officer. I can tell he thinks I killed the crew to take the money for myself. Eventually he lets me go. Drake, definitely take their share. After the paltry offer for the artifacts and the 8 weeks of hotel fares and air tax. Actually, I guess I wouldn't pay the air tax because I wasn't here. So I'm gonna get back 56 coins. Yeah. That's enough for a whole extra... It's actually not enough for a whole extra week off. I guess. Yeah, I can't even take 3 weeks off. 3 weeks off would cost 171 credits. Because that would be 50 credits times 3 for the accommodation, and then 1 credit a day for 3 weeks. 171 total. Okay. So, I arrive at the docks and am questioned by an unsympathetic security officer. I can tell he thinks I killed the crew to take the money for myself. Eventually he lets me go. Drake, definitely take their share. After the paltry offer for the artifacts and the 8 weeks of accommodation, of rent, I guess that's the word I was looking for. 8 weeks of rent, after the paltry offer for the artifacts, their 50% take, and the 8 weeks of rent. So that means I got 5 credits for the artifacts. That's, oh, terrible. In the 8 weeks of rent, I have a mere 169 Drake coins to my name. Not even enough for a 3-week vacation. So I guess I'll have 2 weeks of downtime. I'll be generous. And let's have a look at the downtime activities. You can roll on the carousing table once per cycle. So I could roll on this table 14 times if I want to. 35. You make a stupid promise to someone in public, which you can't take back. Okay. Let's just do 2. One for each week. 31. You wake up in your bed somehow. Oh, that explains why I'm not taking 3 weeks off. Somehow 2d20 poorer. Okay. I'm down 15 coins. So that's 129 in total. So I only have 40 Drake coins left at the end of my second week. And it's like, well, I guess I'd better go out again. Or they'll kick me out. Okay, so we have 2 weeks of downtime. I take some time to recover, for my crushed fingers to heal. And to relax. I made a promise. I guess I'll note that down. I made a promise. So I've made a note in my like stream notes, not here, that if I do come back to this character, I should figure out what this promise is. Because surely it's going to be a hindrance if it was a bad result here. At the end of the 2 weeks, I'm almost broke again. Time to go out. Okay. And I guess that is actually a good place to end it. It's a nice cycle, I guess. We end this little 5-session arc with Silas Lang. With him, he's now, I think, like fully tied into the life of a diver. He goes out on a mission, makes a paltry amount of money, and is just trapped in this cycle of debt, which you see at the end here. So even after a big score, making quite a lot of money, it only lasts 2 weeks. It's all squandered, and then, well, gotta head out again, because it's that, or be kicks off the asteroid. So that was Across 1,000 Dead Worlds. It was fun. The system was definitely kind of complicated and clunky in parts, like combat in particular. There were a bunch of things in earlier sessions that were not really clear. But on the whole, it worked pretty well. So we will be playing something different next. I'm not really sure what. It's going to be fantasy for sure. I have Astro Prisma now. We went through that on Saturday last week, and Astro Prisma looks like a lot of fun. But I don't think I'm going to do 2 sci-fi games in a row for campaigns. So we'll do some fantasy instead. And I have 2 ideas. I currently deciding between Iron Sworn, and everyone knows what Iron Sworn is like. It's kind of powered by the apocalypse. It has this nice dice mechanic where you roll 2d10 and a d6, and this would be a terrible roll. If you roll equal to or under both d10s, that's a complete failure. If you roll above one d10 but equal to or below the other, that's a kind of partial success. If you roll above both d10s, that's a major success. You also add your stat onto your d6, obviously, because a d6 is likely not going to be more than a d10. But it's kind of a cool system that gives you, 3 tiers of success, very clear with no like very limited maths required, which is nice. Iron Sworn, obviously, massively popular game. Everyone kind of knows what it's like. The other option I'm considering is Kal Arath, which I've not read yet, but I've picked up the books or zines rather. It's quite a small thing. It is pretty well regarded. It seems, I've heard that it's fairly procedural. It's a kind of sword and sorcery hex crawling system, whereas Iron Sworn is very freeform. As long as you're doing anything like vaguely kind of Viking fantasy-esque, or you can even change that if you're willing to do a bit of work. So I'll read Kal Arath fully and decide which one I'm going for. But next week there'll be a special schedule going on because I'll be participating in an event. I'll be streaming some Stardew Valley every day next week. So we're not going to do the usual sessions. I think there probably will be, there'll definitely be tabletop stuff on a few days at least. Maybe some session prep or something light, but not the full campaign stream. Maybe we'll do like a session 0 for the next campaign. But we won't probably begin playing that until the week after next. So the next stream is on Saturday when I'll be playing through the Steam demos for Titanium Court and Deep Dish Dungeon, which both look weird and fun. And then after that will be Stardew Valley week. So thanks for watching and see you next time.